It was a debate for the ages, filled with spirited claims, accusations, and half-truths. But it was Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump's refusal to promise that he will accept the results of the U.S. election that sent shockwaves throughout the debate hall, the nation, and the world in this third and final debate with Democrat Hillary Clinton on Wednesday night in Las Vegas. The two White House hopefuls also clashed on a number of other issues, from immigration to the Supreme Court. VOA National correspondent Jim Malone has the details.
For the second straight debate, there was no handshake between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in their final face-off. Perhaps the most significant moment came when Trump was pressed by moderator Chris Wallace about his repeated claims that the U.S. election process is rigged against him.
That you will absolutely accept the result of this election.
I will look at it at the time. I'm not looking at anything now. I'll look at it at the time. What I've seen is so bad. First of all, the media is so dishonest, and they've poisoned the minds of the voters.
Clinton said she found Trump's response horrifying and said it ran counter to U.S. political tradition.
He is denigrating, he's talking down our democracy. And I, for one, am appalled that somebody who is the nominee of one of our two major parties would take that kind of position.
Trump and Clinton also clashed over whether Russia is trying to influence the election process through cyber attacks, which U.S. intelligence officials believe is the case.
Finally, will Donald Trump admit and condemn that the Russians are doing this and make it clear that he will not have the help of Putin in this election, that he rejects Russian espionage against Americans, which he actually encouraged in the past.
When pressed, Trump said he would of course condemn Russia for the activity if it was true. But he also said China or others could be behind the cyber attacks.
I don't know Putin. He said nice things about me. If we got along well, that would be good. If Russia and the United States got along well and went after ISIS, that would be good. He has no respect for her. He has no respect for our president.
Trump was also on the defensive over allegations from at least 9 women who say he groped them sexually.
Well, first of all, those stories have been largely debunked. Those people, I don't know those people. I have a feeling how they came. I believe it was her campaign that did it.
Clinton sought to defend those making the allegations.
Donald thinks belittling women makes him bigger. He goes after their dignity, their self-worth, and I don't think there is a woman anywhere who doesn't know what that feels like.
The candidates also offered different views on Supreme Court appointments, abortion, and immigration, when Trump again called for a border wall. But Clinton said he would rip families apart. With Hillary Clinton now holding an expanded lead of about 7 percentage points, early voting is underway in more than 30 states.
Well, Jim Malone joins us now to put last night's debate into perspective. Jim, welcome. And first, let's start with a very clear headline from last night of Donald Trump refusing, or at least refusing on that stage, to say he will accept the results. Just explain to us what would be the implications of this.
Well, it's never happened before in our history that we've had a major party nominee raise questions like this in advance of the election. You know, Vincent, it was only 16 years ago we had a disputed election in this country. It eventually went to the Supreme Court. It eventually was settled. We had a concession speech by Democrat Al Gore, and George W. Bush became the 43rd president of the United States. There were no tanks in the streets. This takes our tradition to a different level, something we haven't seen before.
Because, Jim, that was not, there were no claims of rigging. It wasn't a different situation where the issue was about the number of votes that
Well, there were disputed
counted?
votes, though, in Florida. There was a dispute over the counting. Trump is claiming now that the election is rigged. But when he's pressed on that, he's kind of vague as to what exactly he's saying. He talks a lot about the media. He also talks about voting irregularities. But the fact is, there's a lot of evidence to show that's a very minor part of what goes on in our system. Don't forget, we don't have a central authority in the federal government that runs our elections. They are run by the states.
Yeah, because for those in Africa listening to this, it reminds them of so many of the opposition leaders who preemptively claim this. And so when they lose, of course, they claim it was stolen.
That's right, and I covered some of those elections in Kenya, so I know what you're talking about.
Now, did Hillary Clinton last night say anything that perhaps may change some of the minds of those who may have been, still undecided even from last time's debate?
It's possible. She was composed. She has done pretty well in these debates. In fact, from the first debate at the end of September, this race has changed dramatically. She's now in a sizable lead. It was basically tied when the debate started. I think more to the point, Donald Trump may have said some things last night that are going to cause people who may have been considering voting for him to maybe pull back. Did it help him with his own core supporters? Probably did fine with that, but his core supporters are not enough probably to win the election.
That's right. Very quickly, we know that some of the things and many things that are said are usually inaccurate. Citizens have no time to go fact-checking. Right. How much of a concern is this? Usually?
Well, it's been a concern the whole election time, and Trump's been at the forefront, making a lot of claims that often are not backed up by evidence. But Clinton has had her issues as well with trustworthiness. But the focus in the final weeks here is clearly on Donald Trump. And let's see where this goes now with his refusal to pledge to accept the results.
And it's just a few weeks from now. Thanks a lot, Jim, for joining us.
You bet, Vincent.